Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is an evening routine, nighttime routine video that was requested from a lot of you guys, and in this video I'm going to show you some of the routines that I try to keep in place. It's so important that we all have some kind of evening or nighttime routine, not only for ourselves, but if you have kids, also keeping them on a nighttime routine is so beneficial to their sleep. So I'm just going to take you through what I do and kind of why I do it. It's not always perfect and things don't always go as I plan them, but these are the things that I strive to do. So on this particular day, my parents took Eli for an hour, and so as you know, if you have an hour to yourself, you're gonna just jam everything that you can, and that's exactly what I did. Just taking a little bit of time for myself. I took a shower. I'm putting a little bit of hair oil into my hair, just a few drops. I like this Lani oil. I've been using it for years. I just use a couple of drops and it works really well on my fine hair for just a little bit of moisture. The next thing that I like to do is have some kind of snack before I start to make dinner, so I'm not eating my dinner as I make it. So today I had fresh fruit, water-rich fruit, like watermelon is such a great choice because it really fills you up, but it also is really wonderful for detoxification and just flushing out toxins. And some strawberries, so lovely and wonderful to eat as a snack. I always try and make dinner, and while dinner is cooking, I'll pick up around the house. I love to keep things really clean, and I really find that cleaning 15 to 20 minutes every single day keeps my entire house clean. I'll focus on one area more than the others, but I'll always just do like a light sweep up and wipe of the counters, and it really doesn't take long. If you don't let your house get dirty, then it doesn't get dirty because you're constantly cleaning it, but I don't spend like hours and hours cleaning every single day. I just do 15-20 minutes and the house stays clean constantly, and I love that. I made some refried beans for dinner, and I had that with some rice, and beans are really one of Eli's favorite foods. I feel like I can always hide in some greens in there. I chop it up like lettuce or spinach or kale or chard, like super fine. I chop up some little cucumbers in there. He loves peas, so all those kinds of things I can hide in rice and beans, and I know that he's gonna get lots of nutrients. He's getting complete protein, grains, and greens. And then he loves to have fruit all the time, so those are the kinds of things that I will feed him for dinner. In the evening, my husband works, so Eli and I are always on our own at that time. I really try and eat at the same time with Eli and pay attention to him while he's eating. He does really well with feeding himself, but I always want to make sure that he feels like included and that we're having our dinner together. I feel like that's setting a good example for the future when we will actually sit down at the table and eat dinner together. After dinner, we go straight to bath time. I like to structure bath time, because I am on my own, as a time when I'm playing with him, washing him, and then I give him about 5 to 10 minutes of time to play on his own in the bathtub. I don't leave the bathroom, I'm there with him the whole time, so if he has any issues, I'm right there, literally. But during that time, I will take 5 to 10 minutes and do a little bit of my own facial routine. In this facial routine time, it really varies on what I feel like doing, but I will take off my makeup and oil cleanse, and then after I'm done oil cleansing, I'll either do a really short facial massage followed by facial exercises, or I'll use a tool like a facial suction cups to just bring the blood up to the surface of my skin, or I will use a facial scraper or a dry brush. If you're interested in any of those kinds of things, I will link all the videos down below. I basically have a video for everything I just named off, and you can check that out. So I just take that 5 to 10 minutes and do a real quick little bit of self-care on myself and my face, and then after that we get out of the bath and we move on over to playtime. Let's put some shorts on you, or pants even. Wow. And during playtime, we'll do things like have little pillow fights, we'll read books. Eli loves reading books right now, so a great way to have the books stay fresh, and something that I've really been enjoying doing lately is going to the library every single week, grabbing like 7 or 8 new books that he can read and we can read over and over and over, and then every week getting something new. I've been doing this about 3 weeks and it's going really well. I feel like a library is a great way to have lots of new content without just cluttering up my house with a bunch of books. So he loves it. He loves the variety, and I will sit there and read like 7 or 8 books. And I have no problem with that at all because he enjoys it so much. Around this time, if I have time and he's playing by himself, I'll probably fold some laundry just to get a little bit done before the next day. I'll also be thinking about what I need to do in the next day or the next morning. And if I need to be somewhere early, I will always pick out my clothes, lay out my outfit and makeup or whatever I need to do for the following morning. Sometimes I teach Pilates really early in the morning, so I need to set all that out the night before because I don't want to wake anybody up if I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I really don't want to wake my son up at that time, or my husband. And then after we've played for some time, this is about the time that Chris gets home from work, and I'm really happy that he has a time to connect with Eli. So they normally have a little bit of roughhousing and just running around and playing around the house for about 10 or 15 minutes before we start the quiet time to get Eli ready for bed. And when we do get him ready for bed, I try and just keep everything like low key, because I found if he plays too close to bed, he's crazy and he won't go to sleep at all. So it's really about bringing the energy down for him and keeping the lights slightly dim. We'll maybe read a couple more books. Something that we really love to do lately is Chris and I will tell Eli all the things he did in the day, and he's so interested in hearing about everything that he did. It's really cute. And so we'll tell him what he did. We'll put him in his sleep sack. Of course, brushing teeth happens around this time. Last time to go pee, last drink of water, all those things. And then I will nurse him and I'll put him to bed. In theory, it doesn't always work like that. I'm telling you, like sometimes bedtime is a struggle, but that is what we try to do. I turn on the white noise machine. I turn on the humidifier. I try and keep the room at a kind of cooler temperature because he is in a big polar fleece sleep sack. We do our prayers and I just tell him I love him and that it's time to sleep, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So that's what I do for Eli. So important for us as adults, whether you have kids or you don't, that you stay on a regular sleep schedule, even on the weekends or on your days off. But our bodies work really well when we go to sleep with the sun and we wake up with the sun. So that is what I try to do. And when you stay consistent with your sleep schedule, you're gonna get better quality sleep too. Having a super comfortable bed, pillow, and cozy sheets makes a world of difference for me. I love for my sheets to be crispy and everything to just be clean and ready for sleeping. It really helps me stay in a good, positive frame of mind for a good sleep, and I think it will help you too. So if you don't have kids, I would say create some kind of evening ritual for yourself where you have time to, watch whatever program you want to watch if that's what you want to do, or do something on the computer, but then shut that computer off or turn the TV off at least a couple hours before you go to sleep. You can open up a book, you can journal. Something that I find to be really helpful is writing down my thoughts, especially if I'm having trouble sleeping or I'm feeling anxious or I feel like I have a million things I need to do in the morning. Whenever those thoughts come and I feel like I can't sleep, I think a really great tip is to have a pen and paper or a notepad or a journal by your bed, because a lot of times if you can just get it out on paper, then you're able to sleep. So if you suffer with any like worry or anxiety or sleeplessness or restlessness, these are some questions that I've learned to ask myself and write them down, and I think will be really helpful. If you just take 10 minutes and you write things down and maybe even answer these questions, you'll be able to get those things out of your head and onto paper and hopefully be able to sleep. So some questions that you can ask yourself are, what am I worried about? What scares me right now? What do I wish was different? What is hurting? What am I struggling with? And just write it down, get it out. Don't worry about it making sense. Don't try to edit yourself, just get it out. And you can look back and read through it, but oftentimes I just find when you write it down, it's on paper, nothing's changed, but at least you've gotten your thoughts out of your head, and that will always help you sleep better. And if you're having trouble sleeping and you're staring at the clock constantly, just turn that clock around, because I find when I'm constantly looking at the clock, especially when I'm having a bad night with Eli and we're waking up so constantly, it makes me even more ramped up and more angry that I'm awake. So I just sometimes have to put the phone or the clock away. So it's just whatever it is, and I will sleep when I sleep. But if I keep track of the time, it just makes it so much worse. I try to be mindful of what I eat and drink at night, around 3 to 4 hours before I go to bed. I try and stop eating. That also doesn't always happen, and sometimes I blow it, but it's a goal that I'm really working on lately because I just feel better. If I've eaten too close to bedtime, I normally feel really full. I feel like I'm waking up more often, and I feel like I'm wired and I can't sleep, but I just feel better when I wake up in the morning. I feel like leaner, and I don't feel like I'm bogged down with my body using all of its energy that it could have been using to repair my body through sleep, and it's using it for digestion instead. You just feel lighter, you feel better. So that's just my personal point of view on that. If you are having caffeine, I would say stop around 4 or 5 at the latest if you plan to go to bed by like 9 or 10, because your body really needs to get that out of its system to be able to fully relax and be ready for bed. So that is my evening nighttime routine. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Sometimes I have to work at night, and so that all changes, but these are the things that I strive for myself, for my son, and just to keep everything as calm as possible. I really feel like when Eli's a little bit older, or when we've got a better handle on sleep, after I put him down, I'll be able to then come out and have a little bit more quality time with my husband. But right now, in this season of life, this is what it is, and I'm really thankful that I get to spend so much time with my son and put him to sleep and be there for him. I just try and keep it as peaceful as possible, as positive as possible, and you just gotta roll with the punches. I really feel like when I get angry and upset and like mad that things aren't going according to plan, then that really kind of influences Eli, and then he's agitated. So I really am working on trying to stay as peaceful as possible, and just if things don't go as planned, they don't, and just try to get right back on track. So I hope that you've got some tips that will be helpful for your sleep and your evening and nighttime routine. Whether you have a kid, whether you don't, I think there's a lot of good things to implement so that you sleep well, so that your sleep is good quality sleep and you wake up rested and ready to go for the next day. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you have any tips or tricks that you like to use either for your baby or for yourself to just make it a peaceful evening and enjoy your nighttime routine. Thank you so much for watching. It's my honor to show up here every week and connect with like-minded people wanting to take their life to new levels of health and happiness. If you like what you saw, I encourage you to head over to veganmichele.com for more information and recipes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.